For more updates, click on subscribe and click on bell button for latest notifications. Hi friends, welcome to Tech ARK IT YouTube channel. My name is Ravi. In this video session, we are going to see that how to deploy a LAMP stack using Ansible. So how you can deploy the Linux environment. In the Linux environment, you can deploy the install and configure the Apache server and MariaDB server. We are going to create some database and we are going to create some tables on it, and we'll put some data in it and install the PHP and run some PHP queries against the database and fetch some data from the web application. So that's the in this session we are going to see that. So okay, let's see this. So what is LAMP? So LAMP is L in the sense a Linux operating system, A in the sense Apache web server. So you can install the Apache web server there, and MariaDB or MySQL, anything you can use. So basically a MariaDB is the database, or the MySQL is also a database, but in an older version like RCL or CentOS 5 or 6, we have a MySQL database, but upon the RCL 7 or the CentOS 7 and CentOS 8, the MySQL is modified as MariaDB. So and PHP, so we are going to install the PHP and we are going to deploy a PHP application which is written in the PHP. So that's about the this one. And let's see this, what is the steps are involved on the Ansible playbook. So first of all, what we use here, typically we are not using any root user here. So we are using a local user account, which is a normal user account which has sudo privileges. Okay, then install an Apache web server using that user, and we are going to do an installing the Apache on the remote system, and we are going to start and enable the services on the remote system and install PHP and MariaDB server and connectors, the MariaDB connectors we are going to install in the remote system, and create database, and database called, the name is Inventory, and we are going to create the table on that database called servers with the 6 columns, which has a serial name, server name, IP address, environment, whether it is in a production or development environment or whatever it is, the location where exactly the server is located, and the remarks. Example, so what describes the server is about, and deploy that PHP application, and whenever you click on browse that PHP app, so you should get that result on the web page. So that's about this Ansible playbook agenda. Let's dive into the demonstration or the practical. Let's see how we can write this playbook and deploy the application. So now I'm into Ansible Master. So here I'm just going to open the Ansible playbook writing. So basically for this series I'm just going to create all of the playbooks in this playbooks area. So now I'm just going to say enable the deploy lamp.yml. okay, so here I'm just going to start the Ansible playbook with these 3 dashes, and I'm going to name this as deploying lamp stack using Ansible. Anyway, it's going to be an Ansible, no need to mention specifically. So I'm just going to specify the host. So maybe I can see node 2 I'm going to select here, and the remote user, so the remote user should exist on the remote server, otherwise it won't work. Okay, so and I'm just going to say become yes. So become yes in the sense it's going to become a root whenever it is installing something. So I'm just going to specify the tasks here. The tasks are going to be the first step is installing the Apache server, so or the web server I can say. Okay, and here I'm just going to use the M module, and I'm going to name that package name is httpd, and state I'm just going to define as the latest package, so it should install the latest package here. So I'm going to define one more play. So this is going to be an installing the MariaDB package, installing MariaDB server. Okay, so I'm going to install this. Again, I'm going to use the M, but here basically I have multiple packages to install. So that's why what I'm going to do here is that I'm just going to name the packages in this way. So I'm not going to write any loop here because the loop is going to be deprecated in the next version. So that's why I'm just going to name the as an in a lines so that it's going to install. So MariaDB, sorry, all small letters, server, and I'm going to write the MariaDB devel, so the development package, and MariaDB connector ODBC. So I'm just going to use a ODBC connector to connect the MariaDB, and I'm just going to install the server utils which is required for the server utilities to be installed. So there is a spelling mistake, remember, so you should not make any spelling mistakes, otherwise it says that the package is not found on the server REM. So I'm going to use the Python 3 MySQL package, which is going to useful for me to connect the and create the database via Ansible, because the Ansible is written in the Python. So the state is latest versions, all of install the latest version here. Okay, so I'm going to specify one more thing is that here after installing this I'm just going to say start the services. Okay, so say start MariaDB server service. Okay, so here I'm just going to use the service module, so which says name equal to MariaDB, the service name is MariaDB, and state would be an started, so it's going to start the MariaDB service. And I'm going to name the thing here, it is that after installing and configuring the MariaDB, starting the service, we are going to create the database. So here maybe I can say that enable MariaDB server service. So I'm just going to enable the service because whenever the server is restarted, it should not stop. So whenever the server has been removed, it will automatically start the service. Okay, so I'm not specifying anything here. Let's okay, let's play different things here. So okay, so I'm just going to say that after this service has been started, I'm just going to run on a secure environment and update the password of the root. So I say update MariaDB server root password. So basically I'm going to use a default user called root here. So I'm going to use the MySQL. So MySQL and MariaDB is same, so similar, almost similar. So just there are only a few changes happened after the same MySQL fork has been modified by Oracle. So that's why there's no change in the MySQL. So most of the times the MariaDB MySQL queries will work on the way on this. So I'm just going to name the user as root. Okay, and the host, so I'm going to use this local host. So local host in the sense not this local host, that local host. we can specify this way, node 3. Okay, and password, what is the password I would like to use over here? Maybe a simple MySQL I say here. Okay, and the login underscore user, so which is going to be a again root user, and check underscore implicit. Okay, so this is admin is yes or no, so we are first time we are going to enable this one. And the privileges, I load all these privileges first of all, flush and refresh it so that it will grant all the privileges. So we require all privileges to maintain that database. Okay, so the next one here, I'm just going to specify. So now what we did is that we have installed the packages of Apache, we have installed the MariaDB packages, and we have started the MariaDB server, and we did not started the Apache service yet, because first of all we are starting the MariaDB services and database services, and we are going to create some databases here. Okay, then only we are going to start the Apache server later. Okay, so create a new database called inventory. So here I'm just going to create a new database called inventory. Here also I'm just going to use MySQL DB module. So the name I'm just going to specify here, it is that inventory, and state equal to present. So because I'm just going to create it, and login user, which is going to be in a root, login password. So while recording, so because this is not recommended to provide the password over here, but for this demonstration I'm just writing the password here. Okay, so instead of these passwords, most of the times we have to use the secure the password and they use the encryption key, so that's the way it should, your password would be secure. But for this demonstration I'm just going to use it. Okay, and copy the SQL files, SQL file. Basically this SQL file has a query to create the database and tables and insert some data in it. Okay, so and I'm just going to say using the copy module, and I say source, which is going to be in a slash source slash specify the file name. Maybe I say servers.sql is the file name which I'm going to use, and destination, so which I'm going to deploy the file into the temporary servers.sql. Okay, so this is the way I'm just going to use this copy method. Okay, and now after that copying that, we are just going to dump that SQL file into the MySQL. So create table with data. So we are going to create the table called servers with some data. So we are going to insert some data in it. So okay, so let's see, I'm just going to use here a simple shell module. I'm not using any MySQL module here, a simple shell module which will dump the SQL dump into the MySQL. So MySQL -u, I'm just going to use the root user, and I'm going to use the password and say /tmp/servers.sql. so this way which is going to dump this database. So we have to specify the database here and dump this and create the database. So what is there in that SQL, I just show you in a after these playbooks completes. Okay, so now we have created the database and we have copied the SQL file and we dump that SQL data into the database with the table creation and create some data. And now I'm just going to use this copy PHP files. So I'm just going to copy the files which are there in the source, so which is a code deployment. So this is the code where my code is available. So here I'm just going to use the source again in /source/ this is a connection .php file which is used to connect to the my MariaDB database, and destination is going to be /www HTML, which is the default web root. So I'm just going to use it here, and again I'm just going to copy one more copy index.php file. Okay, and I'm just going to use again the source here, which is source/index.php file, and the destination is going to be /www.html. So this is the way I'm just going to copy both the files, okay, index and as well as the connection PHP file. Now I'm going to restart the web services here. Okay, in the last I can use handlers here, but I'm not using any handlers, just I'm invoking the service module. I'm just going to use the service module and say name equal to httpd, and state is going to be restarted. Maybe I can start this service before and restart here. That may help us to create the root. Okay, so maybe I can say y to y and paste it here. And say restart Apache, or not restart, it's a start Apache server service. So here I'm just going to use service module and say name equal to httpd, and state is going to be started. So this way the playbook is complete. So I'm going to explain you the playbook again here. So first of all, we are going to use the node2 here, and the local user Ansible, and it's become a sudo user whenever it's installing, and the tasks are going to be defined here in this way, like installing the Apache server and start the services, and install the MariaDB packages, required dependencies, and here I'm just going to start the service here and updating the MariaDB server with the root password, securing the environment. Okay, after that I'm just going to create the database called inventory. So in this, and I'm just going to create copy the SQL file which contains the query to create the table and insert the data in it, and copy the PHP files which contains the connect to the MariaDB database and query the result from the index.php file. And after that I'm just going to restart the web service afterwards, and we are going to browse this application from the browser and see that whether it's working fine as expected. Okay, that's about the playbook. But after that, so we have to create the /source directory and enter into this source here, and I'm just going to create the servers.sql file. So this SQL file I have already prepared. This contains the data to create, how to create your MySQL database, table, and insert some data in it. So this is the query here, so which contains the information like this. table is going to be create the servers and all of this stuff here. Okay, now I'm just going to save this one, and I'm just going to create one more called connections.php. so in this I'm just going to paste my PHP configuration, the PHP code here. So I have the PHP code is this way. So here I'm just going to change my details. So I missed out single code here. The username is root and the password while creating what we have used, and the database name. Okay, so this way we have done our PHP file creation. Now I'm going to create one more PHP file called php index.php, and I'm just going to copy that PHP details, that content over here, the code. So this is my code. So anyway, this code is available in my Git repository, don't worry about it. So that's it. So I have Ansible Playbook ready, and this is my Ansible Playbook, and my node is ready, and I have my source files already created over there, and I'm just going to check this Ansible Playbook and say deploy lamp syntax check. So before running this Ansible playbook, I'm just going to verify that syntax does it have any okay, which has something error in it. So just wait, maybe some space is missed. Where it is missed exactly, creating the new database called inventory. So go over here and see this alignment maybe changes some way. That's it, I think so. We have to change all of them. So this way, if you miss any alignment, and verify the syntax before executing the playbook, so that it let you know that whether the playbook is correct or not. Okay, so seems to be good. We do not have any errors. Okay, now let's run the Ansible playbook. Okay, and deploy the lamp stack. So before that, I'm just going to show you that the node 2. So here with the systemctl status httpd, do I have any service? No, any service is not deployed, the service is not started yet. Okay, and let's see whether do I have anything here. No, nothing. Okay, and verify that whether I have MariaDB here. No, MariaDB is not for. So now I'm just going to see IP address and verify this server whether sorry, so this, and go in the browser and verify that do I have anything. So there is no server. I am not getting any response from here. Okay, let's see this. No response, right? So now let's run the playbook and see this, how the application is going to work. Run the playbook. Okay, so there is a spelling mistake in this. This is not connector, this is connector. Okay, So this way sometimes it gives you the errors. Let's see this how it works. Okay, installing MariaDB server services. Okay, so let's see this how it works. So the MariaDB is changed. You can see this error comes whenever you have the MariaDB is not set up any password on the remote host, like which the MariaDB already have installed, but whenever you restart it, that it does not have any password to access the database. So by default it's a null database, null password. So that's we have to set it up from the playbook. So that step we have to add a little dot my.conf. We have to copy to the exact location, so the password would be set perfectly. So now we can see that the playbook is run successfully. So our application has been deployed on the server. So let's go here on the and refresh this page, whether we are getting that page or not. So maybe we will get, sometimes we may not, because if it is firewall is switched on, then we may not get it. So we have to set that firewall and SE Linux to info switch off. So which do not have any entry here. The firewall is running, but we do not have any rule here. So in playbook we have to add that role, that the thing is that we have to switch on the rules, like we have to input this, allow the HTTP protocol. So for now I'm just going to stop this and SE Linux, verify that SE Linux is also enforcing, so that set enforce 0. So now go to the browser and see whether our application is working. You can see this, here is the our application, so which is working fine. I can able to query the database successfully, and I can able to see the records over here. So this is how the my application works fine. So I have successfully installed the Apache and MariaDB and PHP, and generated the my MariaDB's password and created the database and tables and all of this, and deployed the application with the Ansible Playbook. So that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Please subscribe to the channel for more upcoming videos and courses. All of these playbooks are placed in my tech tutorials GitHub repository, so you can refer my Ansible playbooks repository to find out this playbook.